Hi, welcome to Brady's Blunders, where I show you the mistakes in my games, hoping you don't make the same ones in yours. And this video is a continuation of the same game that I showed in the last couple of videos. And it deals directly with invasion. Of course, as we discussed in the last video, it shouldn't have been an invasion, it should have been a reduction. But I decided to make life difficult for myself. All right, so I played here and Black capped me and said, "You're inside my house. This is an invasion." And he was right. And then I played here. So I'm going to suggest you pause the video and think about where you would play next, but it's going to be the only time I suggest you pause. But each time I ask these questions, please do feel free to pause the video and give it some thought. So you're Black, your turn to play. Where would you play next? Okay, so my opponent played here, and his intention was clearly to split my stones up, but this wasn't the best. And instead, and I honestly didn't consider this, he should just play here. And again, this follows the principle we discussed in 2 videos ago. What happens when your opponent touches your single stone? If you're strong, you should extend. So this follows that principle. I just touched him and he's definitely strong. So extend. And so the reason this becomes a good move is threefold. First is I don't have any forcing moves against it. And there's no hanes or something that I can do that he has to react to that help white make good shape. Second, if I'm going to live, it's almost surely going to be on the third line, third and second line, right? I'm jumping into his space. The easiest place to live is along an edge. And so by descending to the third line, he's actually the first one there. And he's able to say, well, you could try to live on the third line, but it's not going to be so easy. And then finally, this strong shape can run in either direction if it needs to. It has friends down towards the bottom and it has friends up top. So he's got nothing to worry about. And indeed, it's white that has everything to worry about. And as I look at this, I really think with proper play from both sides, white should just die. Okay. But happily he didn't play that. And when he played here, he's thinking white's going to try to connect. But what I was thinking about is I want to live. So I immediately played down on this third line, hoping to be able to get some potential along the edge. But Black looked at me and said, wow, you've got 3 stones and none of them are connected, and I'm going to make sure it stays that way. So he cut right here. I moved up. And now I've hunted on both sides of these stones, so it looks somewhat useful. And then Black played here, and I descended, and then Black played here. So this is the second game problem. If you were white, where would you play now? And don't think of just one move. This is a sequence. Okay. I played here, which was good, and then Black extended, and I read out a sequence where I thought I got a reasonable result. And I played here, this Atari, Black moved out, and then I moved out, and Black turned here, and when I played this, you can see that I'm sacrificing these 2 stones, but I'm getting shape on the outside, which I thought was a pretty reasonable result. And instead of living on the edge, I was going to run to the outside. Okay. So this is actually okay, but it's not the best. White can do better. And the key to white doing better is to extend one more time. Now if Black falls back, this cut is meaner because now the Black turn doesn't capture these white stones because I can capture these Black stones, you see? So Black has to help these stones directly. So now when I play this, I'm no longer sacrificing these stones. These stones are part of killing these 3 Black stones. So here I am getting a base along the bottom, plus I've captured stones here, plus I have access to the outside. This would be a brilliant result for white, and Black would be way behind. Oh, I wish I found this. But I didn't. All right, but is this move necessary for black? After all, what if black comes and fixes on this side? Well, white can still get a really nice result with something like this. And that's meeting the first approach that I had, which was trying to live along the second and third line. So white's pretty much settled, still has outside access, is actually attacking the black corner, and furthermore, black stones look really inefficient now. If he's got the strong shape here, then all these mark stones aren't where he'd really choose to play, are they? So this would be a really good result for white as well. So yeah, I had a chance to really take a lead in the game at that point. Okay, but I didn't. And instead I cut immediately and played here, and then black played here. Then I played here, and black picked up the stones. So problem 3, you're white. Where do you play next? Okay, I played here, and this just seems like the natural move. It's something we see all the time, where you throw in before making the opponent pick up the stones. But the problem is, what happens now if black plays here? And all of a sudden, this is black telling white, well, sure, yeah, if you go ahead and capture now, you've got an eye, right? But because you have to go ahead and capture to get that eye, that means it's only half an eye. And where are you going to get another? And it's really not going to be easy. And this would have led to dire straits for white. Not at all an easy game, and I might really die. So it's pretty clear that instead of this throw-in, I should just move out, and that's a pretty good result. After all, I jumped in way too deep into his territory, and here I am outside. And you may think that, isn't black effectively getting the whole side? But it doesn't really work that way, because if black tries to push through, white can block. Black connects, white plays here, black blocks, white plays Atari, and you can see that white is getting into black's side. He's threatening to capture these stones and move in. It's really not a good result for black. So, and if black protects on this side, then of course white can capture here. So still, black isn't gaining the whole right side. This would be a perfectly good result for white right now. But I didn't. So of course black should play here, but he doesn't. So of course white should play here, but I don't. And of course black should still play here, but he doesn't. Now I come back and play there. So I think that's kind of funny. We both missed the key move time and time again. Okay, so the fourth game problem is after black turns here, where would you play as white? And I'll even ask another question, which is, if you're white, are you better with this group running to the outside, or are you better living small and inside, getting two eyes within black's territory? Which is the better result? And the answer for that is, yeah, if you don't have to live small and inside, it's better not to. If you can keep moving out, then your stones are still relevant to the rest of the game and have an impact. You can always come back and live small and inside later. So it's better, if you think of it from that perspective, for white to move out. And if black moves out with, then white can go ahead and start taking fourth line territory along the bottom. This would be a perfectly good result, and probably how I should have played, but it's not. And instead I played this, and I'll try to explain my thinking and then proper thinking from this point, because actually this is playable, but not the way I was thinking about it. So black played here, I cut, he Atari'd, and then moved this way. Now, if all I'm going to do is live small, then I've already said this is an inferior result. I should have moved out. But unfortunately, that is what I was thinking. Now I need to make two eyes. And instead, I need to think about fighting. if I'm going to play this way, it becomes a fighting game. All right, I can start this way, and black will answer like this. You can see that I can't connect because black will just capture the 3 stones. But then when I play this and black captures, the reason I exchanged these moves first is because now you can see that this is a half an eye, right? White will have to connect, and then I can connect here. So the purpose of these moves on the outside is to gain half an eye. But I don't have to do that right now. And instead, I can come here and we can start a fight. So I've got a weak group here and a semi-weak group here, and black has a semi-weak group here and a semi-weak group here. But it's still a game. Black's got 2 weak groups, I can fight. The problem for me is this is an all-in type of affair. And it may be doable, it may be winnable, but isn't necessarily, my reading isn't necessarily good enough to take this sort of risk, especially this early in the game. So, but this would have been proper play. But unfortunately, what I was thinking is, I just want to live. So instead I played here, black enclosed. I played here, black did the tiger's mouth. At this point, we get to a concept of force before defending, or and force before living, right? I'm going to try to go ahead and live with just 2 little eyes inside black's territory. The least I should do is try to make his territory as small as possible and make him answer me. So play a move like this, moving into his lower right corner. If he plays here, then I can keep forcing my way into his corner. He comes back and says, I'm not going to let you make eyes. I connect. He again closes off the corner, and you can see I'm forcing him to answer each of these moves before coming back and making shape. So this is the concept of force before defending, something that I definitely didn't follow in this example. All right. And instead I played here, and my goal right now is just make 2 eyes, which is a very passive approach. Black should play here, as I showed just a minute ago, because this takes away more space, takes away eye space, and I can't connect. Instead, black picked up, and then I descended, and black played here. And it was at this point that I said, okay, I can make 2 eyes. Yay! I've got it read out, and I can make 2 eyes. Furthermore, if I don't do it right away, it actually looked like trouble. So what I played was here, and you can see, now I've got an eye here, and I've got an eye here. So this is a success. But let me come back and show a more positive approach. And that is to say, I'm going to threaten to make a second eye up in this direction, or move out. Now the scary part of this is it looks like black can take away both of white's half eyes, which is, well, scary. If white comes over here, then black can take this eye away. But the problem is, because black is short of liberties, I still will get half an eye. So I'm fine. With this approach, this nice positive approach, I get an eye here, and I mostly have an eye over here, plus I have outside access. So white's going to be just fine this way. But one thing I really want to point out is look at A. The reason the non-fighting approach is wrong is I've given black a wall facing the rest of the board. And this is what's wrong when you try to live small inside. And so black's happy to have A, but at least this way, A it's a wall, but it has weaknesses. It can still be attacked because it doesn't have eyes. If I had chosen this approach, it would still be a decent game, but I didn't. And instead of doing that, I just played this way. So yep, I've got 2 eyes, but black came along and said, are you sure this is really an eye? I'm threatening to make it not an eye. And I said, yep, it's an eye. And he came and said, are you sure it's an eye? And yeah, it's an eye. And then black came back and cut up here. And this is tremendously different than how I should have played, because now, I mean, this move, just this cut and extension is huge, and it's big for points, but the reason it's huge is this wall that with the earlier variation I showed, it had influence, but it wasn't super thick yet, means I could counterattack it, but now look at it. Now it's the same wall, but instead it's got eyes. So now it's this big, super powerful wall that's glowering down at the rest of the board. As a matter of fact, the rest of the board is where we're going to be playing the rest of the game, and he's starting with this massive influence. And this is why the whole idea of living small with 2 eyes is a really bad idea. And it put me well behind in the game. Okay, so what are the concepts from this? First of all, black had definitely a better move, and one that I've not really seen before. It's an iron pillar, but it's an iron pillar against the 4th line attachment instead of a 3rd. Anyway, this is a really useful move to see and learn. White's trying to live here and navigate down to the 3rd line was quite useful. And then keep reading. Don't settle for the first solution you find. I found a solution here. This could really, and what I found worked, but it could have been so much better if I'd have just extended one more time. And then finally, the usual sequence isn't always correct. Keep reading, and this applies for both black and white. When I played here, black could cap me and the game would be really hard. So don't follow the sequence just because you think it's correct. You have to keep reading. And then finally, it's the easy way or the hard way. These stones are of more value if I come out. Right? They're influencing the rest of the board, and they keep black from getting that big, nasty wall. And this would have been a much easier way for me to play and a much more effective way for me to play. And I guess that's not truly finally, because the other idea is don't live small inside if you don't have to. And then finally, force before defending, force before living. I could have lived in much better style than I did. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.